Now, hello everybody, welcome to the new edition of SEN Builder English. On behalf of all the team members, we hope that the information given today is going to help you to construct your network with success. Today we are giving to you some important tips for the business presentation and also for the follow-up. Tips that have been duplicated worldwide thanks to the practical experience of a team called Social Economic Networker in the past 2 decades, and which are available to us today so that successful and productive consumer organization can be created and can be duplicated. That is why there's a business model. You know, the goal is that people learn the basics and duplicate themselves. This is a model. Of course, it's not a straitjacket. It is based on 2 decades of practical experience. There are people who sometimes don't use this model properly. They say something like, no, I'm not going to mention this point and I'm not going to mention that point, since they have not yet understood the purpose of the model. Now, the purpose of the model, of this model, which have been developed over the years, is that the new team member can learn the basics of the business because he does not know them yet. This means that the new team member knows what he's talking about when he sits down with someone. You know, he shouldn't start improvising. It's always better to say nothing than to improvise. But if we teach the new team member a realistic model, we will tell him or them about the fundamentals and other important basic points. Then at least they get to know, some concepts that as they repeat them in between other aspects, also their business presentation will become, let's say, better and better. You know, the most important thing about the presentation is that it is kept simple, that you present the presentation from the heart. Apply your good energy and passion. Be amazed. Build an emotional connection with the people who are connected online by Zoom or with those people who are presentially at a home meeting. Tell them what you saw. What you found in this project, the way you feel about it. The presentation is a story. It's all about your story. It's not a presentation based on logical aspects in which I have to persuade someone to get them into the fabulous business. If you do it from this kind of looking, it won't work. It won't be effective. When presenting the business to someone, tell them what you are experiencing, what you have discovered, what you have found in this project. Tell them how the project got into your life, how it changed your life. And afterwards, talk about the concepts of the actual business model. Because the model gives you the necessary basics to guide the person through the process of the online presentation or the presential home meeting, as we already have mentioned. So this point now is very important. We see that there are people who give a very good business presentation but don't cover the basics that a presentation should contain. And what basics should a presentation contain? Well, first, your personal story, which is based on how your current state was before the opportunity, how this opportunity came into your life and how your mindset has changed through the process of the entering the system and joining this incredible team. You may not be successful at the moment, but you are telling people where you are going to with this business opportunity and transfer the vision of the business opportunity. So don't get stuck in your story. It's not about telling your whole life. We have experienced along the years that, for example, there are new team members coming along and who talk more than 40 minutes about their personal history. They tell stories about their family, about the children, about one point, about another point. And the candidates wonder, that's all fine, but I was told that the social economic networkers help people. I would like to find out how I can make money in this process. I wait and wait and wait, but the information they promise just doesn't come along. That is why it has to be a presentation in which you create a good balance of contents as of emotion. This can be done very briefly. When I tell people about my personal situation before the business opportunity, I mention things like that. I want you to know, I said like you before a business presentation some years ago, which I heard for the first time. I came to this presentation because I wanted a change my life of living, as well the lifestyle of my family, of course. Why was I looking for a change in my life? Well, I noticed by working long hours full of routine, I had hardly spare time for myself and my family, and I left home in the morning and returned at night. Also, I made good money. Somehow I had lost my freedom and also my liberty. I often ask myself whether this should go on until the rest of my life, as I realized that I had to find another option. And in this search, I found another option that we would like to share with you today. So we project the candidate as your situation was before the opportunity. For example, what was our current state before we entered the project? Then we will introduce the candidate, how our life has changed thanks to the project, the team, and in which direction we are going with this project. Why do we mention all this? So that when you tell the candidate, he lowers his emotional barriers, because most of the candidates who come to a business presentation think something like, wow, they want to convince me and get me in, and I don't want to. Or they want to convince me that I should go into this so they can make money from me. Or he wants to convince me because he wants to sell me something and I don't want to buy anything. These are just some of the famous barriers. You know, when presenting the business opportunity, do not try to convince the people. Do not try to convince anyone. Tell them what happened to you and they will start listening to you. A connection is created. This is with your story so important in the beginning before going into logic and any details. Because if you speak directly about the logical part of the business opportunity, the mental block will be even greater. It would be a lot more difficult to make this important information understandable for the candidate. So take 3 to 4 minutes to tell them a little bit about your life before the project, how you felt, how the opportunity came into your life, and how your view of life has changed completely. Then tell the candidates what you found thanks to this opportunity. It is an important point to mention. What have you discovered with this business opportunity? Well, in general, tell your story. The candidates who are attending and are listening to your presentation want to know what is this all about. Therefore, your presentation should, of course, include what is this all about. And that is why some parts of the business presentation mention, a little bit, about the current concept in which we are financially. How the world and its economy have changed over the years, and how there are other attractive options that we're going to present to you today. How can this benefit the candidate? Well, you mentioned to him the advantages of the industry, that he can develop a second source of income in his free time without leaving what he is doing. That is an awesome advantage. Why do we suggest that in the beginning? Because many candidates have the mentality that they have to quit their job to realize this business opportunity. These potential doubts must be removed from the mind of the candidates right from the beginning, because there are candidates who want to do the business if you don't tell them that, because they think they have to quit their job to start this business. Candidates won't mention it, but since you didn't explain it in the business presentation, they just don't enroll themselves. They think, no way, there will be no way that I'm going to do that. I can't quit my job, or I don't have time to do that. One of the great advantages of this industry that you are addressing is that you can build up a second source of income in your free time without leaving what you are doing. experts are saying that people who know how to diversify their income do have financial security for themselves and of course also for their families. Because if one day your income is missing from what you are currently doing, it will cause an emotional crisis in your family. My goodness. That is why my most of the rect and they say, sure, you're absolutely right. When I get fired from work, I stand there with my bare hands. What do you want to do to convey with that? That they look for an alternative, for plan B. Because with this project, we are presenting a plan B that is successful. And this is why this possible doubt of the candidate is removed straight away. It has to be done like that. Another advantage of the network, well, there are no local or country borders. Why do we mention this? Because when we mention we get the candidates to think of people. We also mention to that candidate who is present there, well, you start this project right here where we are. Imagine you present the project to a good friend of yours here in this city, and your friend presents it to his cousin in Belgium. The candidate sitting there may have a cousin in Belgium, Holland, France, or even Switzerland. Wow, hey, my cousin has a friend in Switzerland. The candidate is already thinking of people in Switzerland. And if my cousin participates, we indirectly make him think of people by saying that there are no limits. And not only for him, but all the people have the same right all around the world. Another advantage is that the investment is minimal. Practically, there is no investment to get into this business. This removes another doubt from the candidates that it won't cost much. The other advantage, and that's the most important one, is the passive income. So first your story, what it is about, what advantages you have, and what company it is. And then it starts. That is why there is the graphic of the company that everybody is connected to. We are connected to this outstanding company, 4Life Research, with their excellent references. Another question that the candidate often asks is, well, and how is the money made? Therefore, after the slide of the company 4Life and the products follows the slide of the 9 ways to gain income with 4Life. While projecting this, the person who is presenting the business could ask the candidate, who wants to make some money immediately? Because there are many people who want to make some money, let's say quickly. Almost all candidates raise their hands. Well, almost all. Because this company offers a system with a quick bonus payout plan for those who need immediate income. Those who are interested in an immediate income, they're gonna answer quickly, myself. So we meet one of their needs. Now, this company also has a number of other performance bonuses. And we're gonna continue with the business presentation. And finally, there's another doubt from our candidates that makes it nearby impossible to enter the business if you do not remove this doubt beforehand. That is important. The candidate wonders, but I'm a cook, I'm a carpenter, I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm just a housewife. I don't know how to do this. That's not for me. Do you understand what we want to say with that? Therefore, we answer in advance to this possible doubt. Do not worry, we are part of a global team that has developed an excellent system over the years. A teaching method that we can offer you on a request so that you learn how to do this correctly. We help you and we support you. There's a team, there's a system that supports you and that teaches you. And now the candidate, of course, feels confident. Great! They support me. They teach me. There's nothing to lose here. Before we're finishing off the presentation, we offer the candidate the 3 possibilities to focus on while developing the opportunity right from the start. I have, of course, to know that everybody starts off as a preferred customer. Some of them, they stay like that. Others want to become distributors of the 4Life products, sort of a salespeople, to obtain benefits by selling these excellent products. And some people, they really want to have access to this incredible passive income. They want to capitalize everything that 4Life offers, and they are willing to learn this awesome profession of becoming a professional networker. And finally, we come to the conclusion of this business presentation. Here you have to complete the presentation with the possibilities of this project, with the dreams and what awaits us in the future. Now, can you imagine making a decision today to secure your future forever? Imagine that time and money are no longer a limit for you. Imagine working less hours but earning more money. Imagine what you and your family could achieve in the next 5 years. You know, the candidate who is sitting there and listening will say to himself, well, I never will achieve that with my job. And that is why at the end of our business presentation, we ask question of awareness. Can you imagine making a decision that will change your current situation forever? You know, a decision that will allow you to earn an income in the next 3 to 5 years that will allow you to live a lifestyle with freedom. So you ask questions that open up different possibilities for the candidate. And here we have a very, very important point that a lot of people ignore. They do not make a conclusion, an effective closing, so that the candidates can make a decision right away. You take care of everything, but you don't conclude. You know, the conclusion can be very easy. It is as simple as, for example, ask the candidate if he is interested in earning an immediate income. Therefore, we mention, among other things, we are ready to help and to support you in creating a work schedule with you tonight so you can start earning money in the coming days, weeks and months. Let us know so we can create an effective planning to work with you. What do those candidates think who want to earn an immediate income? That they can achieve it. This is how we help them to make a good decision right away. Those who are really interested will respond and will come to you. And here it is very important that you make a positive and result-orientated conclusion. If we do it right, we will be very effective, and many candidates will agree and stand up because the combination of all the given elements are properly connected. You know what elements are we talking about? So our 6 direct team members learned how to prospect correctly. That's good. They learned how to create a candidate list. They have learned to invite candidates with an effective invitation. They learned how to properly build up team members, products, the company, and of course the learning system to inspire the candidates' interest in listening to the business presentation. They have learned to present a good business presentation and to conclude it effectively. They have learned to sit together after the business presentation in order to realize the conclusion with the candidate, fill out the form, and if this was not possible, to give the candidate at least access to some follow-up material. You know, this post-business meeting is actually about 2 things. We either make a definitive conclusion or we offer further follow-up treatments. There are people who hold these post-meetings, and when you're listening to them, it seems more about the course of personal growth, about having an effective meeting for conclusion. By doing this meeting presentially, it should consist of a maximum of 7 to 10 people, the very most, to keep it manageable. You know, since it would be very difficult and would also take, I think, too much to manage more people at the same time. If this meeting is held online, it would be advisable of keeping the amount of people in this meeting as less as possible to be able to offer a real good and personalized attention. It is therefore very important that the team member responsible for the meeting has been trained beforehand. Therefore, you choose the best team members in this group beforehand. Of course, you have to be this person so that you can manage your group that is part of your downline. There, your candidates and the candidates who have been invited by their business partners are present. You introduce yourself. For example, my name is Olaf Vannebecker. I was a head chef of an international hotel chain, and later I went into retail as a sales manager. I joined this project because I was looking for a better lifestyle. It would be very nice if each of you introduced yourself briefly. Please explain your name and what you're currently doing professionally. Anyone who is already in the business starts off saying, I'm a networker, I'm an entrepreneur. Those who do still other jobs gonna mention, look, I'm a secretary, or I'm an engineer, I'm a cook, I'm a doctor, and I choose this project because this business opportunity means I can build a better and safer future for my family. So the team member responsible for the meeting takes control of the meeting and addresses the invited guests directly, because the main goal of the meeting are the new candidates. Well, welcome. We have 3 guests here tonight. Your name is? Mr. Johnson, Peter Johnson. Hello, Mr. Johnson. What did you like most about the business presentation you saw tonight? We asked this question because we want references. What and how the candidates think. Based on these references, we can provoke a decision. That is why it is so important that the team leader is trained to block possible objections. All of this is very well explained in our Guide of Success, how to handle general objections. There are candidates who tell you, well, I just don't know how to sell the products. They say this because they understood that this must be a sales business. Other people gonna say, I just don't have time, or I don't know these multi-level stories, or I think it's far too late. There are too many people involved already. Or this is a pyramid scheme, isn't it? Do you understand what we want to say with that? It is therefore so important that the team member who leads the meeting is trained in how to deal with objections. Because, for example, Mr. Johnson can also say something else. Look, and this is one of the most common answers we hear anyway. What I'm interested in is the financial part. So how do you make the money? The answer, Mr. Johnson, do you want to earn an immediate income? What will Mr. Johnson answer? Of course, because he's interested in making money. He would like to know how to make the money. That is why he replies, of course I'm interested. So, look, Mark, Monica, Sheila and myself, we are all ready to help you right away by creating a work schedule so that you can start making money from this business next month. Do you like that? What will Mr. Johnson answer? Well, that's fabulous. Now we can sit down with Mr. Johnson to fill out a form and explain what the steps we will take together. On the other hand, we can continue with the meeting. What is your name? Mrs. Doris Baker. Mrs. Baker, what did you like the most this evening? And she says, well, I'm more interested in the transfer factor because there's a bit of lack on my own health. I would like to learn more about this transfer factor. And we answer, okay, perfect. Mrs. Baker, we want you to know that this company has the best biotechnology. In the end, we will give access to you to some information about us and our products so that you have enough information to look at for you and also for your family. We give the candidate what they are asking for. The trained team leaders knows how to deal with it, because there are people who, for example, make an incredible mistake and tell the candidate something like this. No, you did not understand this. This is not a sales business. And only with this single statement, like I just said, all the work is it's gonna be buried. We would also like to explain this other point. We said we were prospecting to invite potential candidates to the online business presentations or the presencial business presentations. However, there are exceptional cases. It is a matter of common sense. When I speak to my friend George and he tells me that he has severe rheumatism and can hardly move, and on top of that I tell him, listen George, I met a team of fantastic business people. You know, that doesn't make sense. Use common sense. George said that he has severe rheumatism. He didn't say that he was looking for business opportunity, so we would not be coherent. So we say, George, I want you to know that I've got to know a company who has fabulous products that also agree with your health. In this particular case, George will open the door for me. It's about common sense. Do you understand what we want to say with that? You see, this point is really important. What we want to say with this is, when a person mentions something about money, what is this person looking for? For money. Who mentions something about the product, what would this person like to talk about? Products. It is therefore very important that the team member who leads the meeting knows how to meet the demands on the needs of the candidates. So what do we do at the end of this meeting? Well, we build up the weekly mega plan. And of course also our weekly group meeting to keep attending the needs of our own organization. One of the important goals of the weekly mega plan as of the weekly group meeting is to meet again with our upline, because over the time you will have many people in your organization who will, let's say, will not be able to meet personally throughout the week, all those people. If you make it presentially, it would be impossible. If you have 40, 50 people in your organization, only those, to meet them personally throughout the week, this is not possible. By using the new technologies, using online meetings, a whole new world of opportunities are opening up for you and your team members. So what day will we all meet? On Tuesday on the online mega plan, and on Sunday the online group meeting where we are all together. Therefore, while we're finishing off our meeting after the business presentation and all our candidates have left, we take our agenda where we write down the appointments and organize the following 7 days with the different team members. I said that on Wednesday, for example, I still have space for Margaret in my diary and ask her for example, Margaret, how can I help you? So I can fill out my agenda with online appointments and different actions of the following days. Do not leave any free space in your diary. We use the rest of the time at the end of the meeting to set up a schedule, to work with the group. That means to organize an action plan that we will take into account during the week. Because if you don't organize yourself, your team members, your downline and your upline who are also present in the group meeting, you will not see them asking for help. So many may duplicate this, and it is the organizations that get stuck in the same place for years and do not grow. Your meeting with your organization is a point where we meet weekly to plan the week. All the different organizations have their own schedule. For example, in our case it starts on Sunday. Then comes Monday, attending the mega plan in English. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Because on Sunday we return again to the meeting of our entire organization. All of these points are very important to mention when we hold a meeting after the business presentations. Now the fourth step of the cycle of momentum is the so-called follow-up. It is a crucial point, as there are candidates who are not making a decision at the moment, but they decide later. There are people who want to see more details, who want to find out more, who need more time to decide. And that's fine. Not all candidates decide spontaneously. And this is where the effective follow-up actions come into play. You know, what are effective follow-up actions? Well, the follow-up begins at the end of the business presentation, really. For those candidates who have not yet decided, somehow we have to provoke follow-up actions. And how do you do that? Well, we tell them that we have information packages on the candidate, on hand to provide the candidate with additional information so that he can read the information at home with ease. You know, don't give away these links of additional information. There are links to offer, effective links, effective follow-up treatments that have professional backgrounds. You know, therefore use this valuable link material as professional as possible. It is not about if you have 3 candidates in the business presentation and in the end no one decides for the business to give them all the follow-up material. Here this link is for you, and here one more for you. You want one too? Okay. This is nonsense. We say, for example, Mr. Arminio and myself have prepared this material with information for you. Everything is detailed in this link. If you are interested, you can take this information with you and evaluate it calmly. There's always someone who is interested. Yes. I would like to have a look at this information. Oh, perfect. We hand over the link, we take our agenda because we have to formalize the follow-up. When can we meet, tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, so that I can get into details with you? How are you doing tomorrow? Okay, that's all right. It's going to be a presencial meeting. Then we could say as follow. Where do you prefer us to meet? At Mark's or at Sheila's place? At your place, or do we meet in a let's say, quiet place? We give several options by asking questions so that the candidate feels sort of comfortable. Maybe he doesn't like us coming to his home. But since we were with Mark and Sheila, and they are also my friends, we can also offer the opportunity to meet in their house. And if he tells us we will see each other in the coffee shop around the corner, well, perfect. Then we will meet in the coffee shop. And if it's online, well, then we say something like, at which time we could connect with each other at Zoom. We present these different options, then we hand over the link so the candidate has access to the information. The candidate goes home with valuable material, and we go home with valuable appointment. These are effective follow-up actions. At least we have a provoked follow-up treatment. Then, during the follow-up itself, what are the steps to follow? First, we strengthen the relationship. Why should we strengthen the relationship? Because the candidates don't know me. They don't know us. He knows Mark and Sheila, so I will borrow a so-called building up, thanks to the friendship that Mrs. Johnson has with her friend Mark. She gains trust and slowly gets to know me. I want to keep the trust with the candidate because maybe Mark and Sheila can leave the business. It happens, or they run out sort of battery. But since I'm building a relationship with the candidate, I already have a friendship, and we continue to expand our organization together. We have already made a friendship. In business life, it happens that your upline can stop for different reasons or stagnates due to a personal situation, and the downline continues to grow. Now, we focus on the team members that grows to multiply the business. So the point is very important. Then we return to the topic. What does it mean to return to the topic? Well, I go back and I tell a little bit about my story. For example, Mrs. Baker, I want you to know that I started this fantastic project some years ago because I was looking for an improvement in my life. So I tell my story and briefly mention also my current situation. As it was at that time. The current situation connects us because people around the world also have their current situations. But the one I am telling right now identifies and connects us. So I keep on saying, also I didn't understand much when I saw the business presentation for the first time, because I worked as a head chef and later as a sales manager in retail. But I could see that it was a real option that I also could achieve, and I wanted you to know, if you choose this project, that Mark, Sheila, my wife, Flor, and myself will help you. We will support you so that you can achieve your goal. What are we doing here? We give Mrs. Baker the confidence and certainty that she is not alone, that we help her and that she is supported. I am ahead of Mrs. Baker's decisions. I am on the way to provoke a decision. Many people do not make a decision because they feel insecure, because they are suspicious of something. They have no relationship with us. But since she trusts Mark and Sheila, I take this trust, and Mrs. Baker gets the feeling that we are helping her and that we will support her. After what you saw, is there any questions you want to clarify? She now mentions her objections and doubts. We clarify her doubts. That is very important. Only about her doubts she has, of course, nothing more. There are people who clarify the doubt by explaining the whole guide to success and the whole business and therefore bury the candidate. Please only clarify what the candidate needs and nothing else. After that, we have enough time to get in other details. This is for lifetime. We have to understand that we cannot give a steak Wellington to a newborn baby. That wouldn't work. We cannot submit all of the information at once. Give your candidates what information they need at the moment, but not more. There can be other objections as well, of course, like, I have never liked selling. Well, we understand that, Mrs. Baker. When we saw this business for the first time, we thought it was a sales business. But I want you to know that we are building a business connecting consumers to a very, very successful international platform. So you certainly have heard from Uber or eDreams, Booking.com, Netflix, or this giant called Amazon. You know, these are very successful platforms because they have a method that teaches success. We are also part of a global team that has developed a method, and we teach that method. This is why we have so much success. We don't have to sell products, but we build a network. I know that at this moment you don't know how to do that, but don't worry, we will help you with that. So clarify any existing doubts and complete this deal. How can a successful conclusion be caused then? Ask questions. Mrs. Baker, I want you to know, if you decide today, we will sit down with you to create an action plan so that you can earn an immediate income. Is that okay with you? And she says yes. If she's not ready yet and says, I don't understand all of it, then we answer, I understand you very well, because when I saw it for the first time, I couldn't understand it also. But I want you to know that we will all meet on Sunday. And now we start to build up our weekly training day, the mega plan on Tuesday, because now our goal is to get Mrs. Baker, who saw the business presentation on a one-to-one, or who was present at the home meeting, or who was present at an online presentation, to invite her to the weekly mega plan, which we have every Monday evening. So Mrs. Baker, you will see the business presentation a second time. You know, we know it is a very important decision for your life, but give yourself the opportunity to be with us again, to meet other successful entrepreneurs, people like you, who started just like you. You know, today, thanks to this project, they have built an excellent income for themselves and their families. I would like to introduce them to you. How about on Monday evening, so you can get to know these other team members? So what we're doing, we connect her with the mega plan. It is a system that gets people moving, and in this case guides Mrs. Baker through the process. It makes her click, and suddenly she says something like, wow, I think that's for me. I think I can do this. thanks to the stories and experience of other successful team members with whom I identify myself, I will also do this business. Well, I'm a housewife too, like Rafaela, and if she can do that, then I can do it too. It's a process of giving information and moving people. These are the famous follow-up actions. In the end, you decide to do the business. So what's the next step? Well, I'm going to take my agenda. Can we sit down, Mrs. Baker, to create the action plan for starting your business and going through the managerial planning? So, the system is knowledge, recordings, videos on YouTube, websites, conferences, online conferences, the guide to success, why for life, the entrepreneurs of the 21st century, and so on. The information is available to everyone. What we just talked about is the important part of the cycle of momentum. It is the individual work that we and you do with people outside, and that you model. You devote 80% of your time to those team members. In other words, if we, I mean myself and my wife, have 6 direct team members that we will be working with all the time with them because they are the most committed ones, then we will 80% of our time dedicate to them, of course. We devote 20% of our time to the rest of the organization. That means moving them to the different key activities and meetings to help them grow with the collective activities. On behalf of our team, we wish you all the best of success. If we inspire you, please give us a like and make some comments. In the next issue anyway, we will talk about a point that is fundamental to the correct growth of an organization. Consult with your upline. Stay in touch with your sponsor. Seek constant advice from your sponsor. Check with your sponsor. So we will get in details with some very important, interesting points there. We thank you all for your attention, and we're going to see you next week.